oftentimes you are coloring the interactions with what's happening internally. And so that is the only way that you can see what's happening around you, is because of what's happening inside of you. So taking the time to... Hi everybody, I'm Patrice Renee, and this is Divine Operation University, aka Do You. And today we're reframing self-care. So whenever I want to look into any concept, I start with the definition, because what does it actually mean? And I broke the two words down, self and care. And in their simplest forms, self just means one's nature, character, personal interest, and the entity underlying all subjective experience. And then there's care, to be concerned with, to have thought or regard for, to make provision, and to have affection for. So putting the two together, in other words, we could say self-care is regarding your subjective experience. Self-care is having affection for your nature. Self-care is making provision for your personal interests. Self-care is being concerned with your character. So the first point, self-care is regarding your subjective experience. I take it to mean you're connected to your point of view and you value your unique experiences. So like subjective experience is essentially an experience that only you can have. We have objective experiences, which are based in fact, and then subjective experiences, which are based on our senses and our emotions. So everything that's happening throughout the day, you woke up, you had a cup of coffee, you brushed your teeth, you got dressed, you drove to work, and all these things, right? These are objective experiences. The subjective point of view might be,
I woke up feeling groggy and not ready to start my day, so I went ahead and had a cup of coffee, and it was bitter, and I ran out of sugar, so I was really frustrated. And then I got myself together to go to work, and, traffic was terrible, but I heard my favorite song on the radio, so I guess it was worth it, and I made it to work, and, it was a day, so yay, I'm glad to be home.
That would be a detailed version of the day, right? Anybody can do the initial activities, but not everybody is going to have the same experience while having them. So really being connected to that subjective experience is a key aspect of your self-care, right? Really allowing yourself to feel those feelings, really tapping into what those feelings are, knowing that the coffee was hot and warm and you enjoy a warm cup of coffee, or you prefer iced coffee, right? All of this information that your senses are giving you, that your emotions are giving you, is going to help you to tap into what truly matters to you. Asking yourself questions like, what makes me feel good? What makes me feel bad? Knowing that good and bad are subjective in and of themselves, right? That there are so many different feelings and emotions tied to those two words that they become larger umbrellas for a bunch of smaller buckets, right? What could feel good are things that make us feel alive, experiences or people that make us feel heard or seen. And wanting to be around those people more is a part of your self-care. Making time to be around those people more is a part of your self-care. What makes you feel bad? It could be things that make you feel physically ill. Just paying attention to how you feel within your body, let alone the emotions that are attached to it, and just valuing those experiences. Ultimately, what's happening here is that you are finding meaning and value in your personal experiences, not allowing someone else to tell you that, oh, you're overreacting because you feel a certain way. Yeah, I feel that way because of my history, because of my experiences, because of things that have happened to me or things that I know feel good to me, and this ain't it, right? And so I can have the reactions or feelings that I have within, reason. We don't want to just react all willy-nilly just because our feelings are valid. We still have to take into account a lot of different things, but that's for another day. Today, we're just focusing on the fact that regarding your subjective experience, thinking highly of your information that you're getting from you is important, and it is self-care. So, point number 2. Self-care is having affection for your nature. That one is pretty simple as it stands, but just to keep it even simpler, let's say that self-care is just liking who you are at your essence, at your core. And that may not be easy for all of us. I know that for me, for many years, that was not easy. Even to this day, I struggle with it, but I know how important it is to really enjoy being with yourself and being yourself, right? I think a key component to really diving into this part of it is sitting with yourself. Sitting with yourself without distractions like your phone, without the TV, without other people, without food on your plate, right? Just being able to sit with yourself and hear your thoughts, feel your feelings, um, have conversations with yourself. Don't shy away from that. Okay, it's really important. You get a lot of information from there, and you can make yourself laugh, right? You have inside jokes with yourself. Just enjoying your own company is a key component to self-care. It's probably at the center of it all. What are some of those things that come naturally to you, whether it is your skills or your talents? It doesn't have to be, right? Not everything that is innate and natural to us is what's going to make us a star, but it does include those things that just naturally come to us. Some of us are natural givers. We're naturally generous, right? We just want to share what we have. And it's important for us to be that in this world, especially in this society where a lot of people are individualistic and just want to take and have and hoard. It is important for us to be in our own nature and enjoy being that despite what life has thrown at us, right? Maybe your giving nature has been abused by people that you've experienced thus far. And so you feel like you need to hide it. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? You start to become, the more you hide it, the more you suppress, you start building up that shadow, right? And you start changing who you are on the outside as far as the shell and the performance and the character that we put out there, and not necessarily at your core, at your nature, because truly that is who you are. And you start to have this disconnect, right, where you start to break apart from who you are. And that's when we start feeling, sad and depressed because we're not connected to ourselves. We're not connected to a deeper sense of self. And so allowing yourself, despite your past pains and hurts, allowing yourself to really feel that, I'm going back to the generous nature, really feel those traits. And even if you just express it to yourself, right? Give yourself more time, effort, energy. Give yourself more of whatever it is that you have and allow yourself to feel what it feels like to be in your generous nature. It might allow you to be more appreciative of it and therefore more, let's say, responsible with it.
Not to say that you were irresponsible before by giving it to the person. You were not the problem. They were the problem for abusing whatever it was that you were giving them. But
you don't take it for granted, and you don't, what am I trying to say? It's in there, but it's not coming to my lips. You're just careful. This is the care, right? We're talking about self-care. You're just more careful with yourself, with this innate, deeper energy that is within you. You're just more careful with it. And because you appreciate it, you find that it's precious. That's kind of the energy that I'm going for. You feel that it is precious and you know that it is important to you and the world. And so you don't want to just give it away to anybody, even if it is giving nature. You don't want to just give it away. You want to give it to those that you deem need it, those that you deem are deserving of it, those that you deem are appreciative of you and who you are and all the elements that you've shown them thus far. First and foremost, yourself, right? Being able to be yourself with yourself is a key element in this self-care journey. So on the flip side of that, what is it that you bring to the rooms that you enter, right? So we're talking about these natural and innate qualities to ourselves, these essences and this energy and air that you have when you walk into a room, when you walk into a situation, when you enter a relationship. There are certain elements of yourself that you bring to these rooms. And I think that's something that you want to get to know. That's something that you want to really pay attention to. And when you're in relationships, or when you look back, maybe you're really taking time to think about, what have I experienced thus far, and what do people experience by being around me? And also taking those little personality quizzes, digging a little deeper into those things might help you to see some of the elements that are a part of your nature and see what kind of resonates, what feels good. Again, going back to what we talked about before, what feels good to you in that list of traits, and see if you have experienced those things. See if it has been a part of your subjective experience, having those things show up in the rooms that you walk into, and knowing that it's coming from you. It's easier said than done to just like yourself. But it is a practice, and it is a knowing that it is possible, that you can, and it happens if you want to. It happens if you move towards it. It happens if you make it a priority in your life. If you make you a priority in your life, you will learn to like you. So that is a part of self-care. Then we have point 3. Self-care is making provision for your personal interest. So I have that meaning that you are preparing for what you give your attention to, what you want to be a part of, and what you want to know more about. Let's break that down a little bit, right? So provision itself is to set aside resources for what's to come, right? To prepare for something is to gather the information, is to have the resources, is to, set aside time and space for something. If we look at the list where we have what you give your attention to, what you want to know more about, what you want to be a part of, these are things that all center you. Where are you putting your attention? If on to, being a YouTuber, then you have to prepare for that. You have to set aside resources for becoming a YouTuber. If it's something that you want to be a part of, like I want to be, not me, but you might be saying, I want to be a part of, the entertainment industry, then that is something that you have to prepare for. If you're saying, I want to know more about it, health and fitness, that's something that you have to prepare for. And when I say prepare, when I say resources, actually, I'm referring to your time, your effort, your energy, setting aside time for studying what you want to know more about, setting aside energy for your workouts, or cleaning up your space, or going to be with people that really light you up and make you feel good, setting aside time and space to revive your energy after dealing with certain people. I know there are people in my life that I can't necessarily drop kick to the curb, but I do feel less than full after dealing with them. But just knowing that about those experiences with those people is enough to, help me navigate better, because I've prepared for those situations and those circumstances. So as it stands right now, you can ask yourself, how am I spending my time, effort, and energy? Am I putting forth time towards the things that I actually want to experience? Am I putting forth effort towards the things that I actually want to do? Am I getting what I want to get out of this life? Am I getting a return on my investment? Plus interest, hopefully, right? You want to be putting time, effort, and energy into the things that really light you up and make you feel fuller, bigger, like you can take up more space, like you can be more yourself. And it doesn't have to be anything really big or heavy, right? It could just be, I like pretty things, so I buy myself pretty things, right? I work hard so that I can afford to buy pretty things. Or I like to, a crafter, me, for real this time. Me, I'm a crafter, and I just like to make pretty things. It doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, what inspired you to make this piece of art, and why did you decide that this is what you wanted to do, and blah, blah, blah. No. I saw something similar. I thought it was cute. I decided to try my hand at it, and then this is what came out of that. It's pretty to me. I like it. I enjoyed the process of doing it, and that's all there is to it, right? That's why I put my energy into it. That's why I put my effort towards this, my resources towards this. That's why I set aside the time to do this, because it was pretty. And that's all there is to it. So sometimes it's not that deep, and it doesn't have to be that way. It's up to you. You get to decide. That is the joy. That is the pleasure, right? You get to decide. So take care of yourself and set aside time, effort, and energy for what truly matters to you. So then finally, with point 4, we have self-care is being concerned with your character. I take that to mean you're taking responsibility for your mental and moral qualities, right? You care about how you show up in the world, period. When it comes to your character, essentially it is your morality, just how you interact with people, how you value other people outside of yourself, and it dictates really how you move. When it comes to morals, obviously we all have a different set of standards, but what I always say is that there is no two when you're living by your own standard. So someone can't tell you that you're too selfish if you've decided that this is what I've allocated for other people and this is what I've allocated for myself, period. Can't shame you. They can't make you feel bad if you truly believe that this is what is meant for you, and of what it is that you have, this is what is meant for you and this is what is meant for them. Now, if you're running around trying to take from other people in addition to hoarding your own, now folks can call you selfish. Again, it doesn't have to affect you. If you've already decided this is my standard, I'm going to have mine and take yours too. That's you. Don't expect you and I to hang out, because clearly you're not my people. But that is your standard. If that's how you want to live your life, that's how you live your life. Okay. I'm not saying that anyone is free from consequences of their actions, but you don't allow other people's standards to tell you what you should and shouldn't be doing for yourself, right? Over here, we're tired of supposed to, so we don't get behind whatever it is that we're supposed to be doing. We allow ourselves to decide for ourselves what it is that we want to do, what it is that we're meant to do. With that said, when it comes to your mental character, I think about it as, are you letting, feeling bad, being sad, having traumas rule you? Are you allowing those things to dictate for you how you move about in this world, right? Maybe that person who is, I have mine, I'm not giving away to anybody, but I will take whatever it is that you have too. That person might be operating from a place of trauma. It may not be one of their innate qualities, right? To hoard and take for themselves, but they had trauma where in the past, they didn't have anything at all. So now they're afraid to lose. They're operating from a place of lack. And so to focus on your own mental character and say, okay, am I allowing my traumas? Am I allowing my past? Am I allowing the things that make me feel bad dictate how I move forward? And really taking in that information, sitting with yourself and taking in that information and finding out what the truth of it is, what truly is you. If at the end of all that digging and uncovering and discovering, you find, okay, yes, I'm not allowing myself to be my full self because I'm operating from this bad place, you make the changes that you need to make in order to move forward in a freer, more open space, right? In a way that makes you feel more full. Because again, at the end of the day, this is all centered around you. How does your mental state affect your interactions? Are you lashing out at people because you're upset? Do you have road rage because, you feel anxious about not getting places on time because you've been chastised or disregarded because you were late or tardy for certain things? Or you could even it could be far more subtle, wherein, you have it in your head that whenever I go to work, these people are going to get on my fucking nerves. Right? Every time I go into that building, these people get on my nerves. It happens as soon as I walk through the door, and I just know I'm going to be annoyed. So I'm already annoyed before I even make it to the door. Before I walk out of my own door, I'm already annoyed because I just know that's how it's going to be once I get there. Know that that mental state is affecting the interactions that you have once you get into the job. Even if it truly has been every time that you walk through the door, this is how it goes, which I'm going to challenge that. But every time you walk through the door, this is how it is. That is going to continue to happen because you're going to continue to treat the people as if they are annoying. You're going to continue to see everything they do as annoying. You can't even get out of your own house without being annoyed. You're not even interacting with people and you're already annoyed. So, of course, they're going to annoy you, right? Somebody could sneeze as soon as you walk through the door and you're like, oh, here they go again, right? Oftentimes, you are coloring the interactions with what's happening internally. And so that is the only way that you can see what's happening around you, is because of what's happening inside of you. So taking the time to really feel the feelings, recognize the feelings, or recognize your mental state, filtering it through the character that you want to exhibit, the standards that you've set for yourself, and then moving about in the world with that information and seeing where that takes you. What is it within these interactions that makes you feel whole? That is your integrity. Do I feel like I'm dividing myself in order to stay in this relationship? Do I feel like I'm dividing myself in order to get that promotion at this job? Do I feel like I'm dividing myself by keeping the secret for this person that I know and trust and love and appreciate, right? There's so many different ways that our integrity can be challenged. So do we take the time to really put ourselves first in those situations, really dig deeper into ourselves and feel what's going on internally in those situations and see what it is that we can do to maintain our moral character, to maintain our wholeness, our integrity, right? So, yes, those are my 4 deeper, soulful elements of self-care that don't have anything to do with go to the gym, eat healthy, meditate, go outside, give yourself a facial. All of these things are elements of self-care. These can be a part of your self-care journey, but they don't have to be, right? You don't have to allow the aesthetics of self-care, the Pinterest list, to tell you that this is what self-care is, because at the end of the day, it's really centered around your experiences, whether that be the ones that you've had, the ones that you're having, or the ones that you want to have in the future. It's all about what you do with what you've learned and how you incorporate that into the life that you're living. It's about creating a life that is shaped around you, right? You are your motivation, your wants, your needs, your desires. Those are your compass. If you follow these tips, if you focus on yourself and really caring for yourself, right? The inner workings of the self, then it truly becomes any and all things that you do are literally self-care. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me. Again, I am Patrice Renee with Divine Operation University, aka Do You. And if you like what you heard today, please do like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Love you. Bye.